you bitch!
Hello yet again, everybody. It's Xeno Enthusiast, as always, and today I'm bringing you yet another new What If. I had promised myself not to do any more new What Ifs until I had started working on more second parts for the others. But I just really couldn't help myself when it came to this one. So, let's get into the background information for this Monsterization Quirk. Oh, I'm terribly sorry, just coughing all in your ears. I'm really sorry. Alright, for those very, very few people who clicked on this video, knowing what monsterization I mean, then you are absolutely correct. Yes, this is a what if based off the webtoon comic, Sweet Home. Now, for those of you who don't know, which is probably going to be a mass majority of you, Sweet Home is a webtoon comic on the app Webtoon. It's kind of makes sense. It's about a 18-year-old recluse who recently lost his mother, father, and sister in a car accident. He then moves into an apartment complex called Green Home. Everything was fine. Staff was nice. The neighbors, although a bit loud, were pretty friendly. Then it all suddenly changed. If you want more information on this, then all you have to do is get out of this video, download the Webtoon app, which is completely free, might I add, and search Sweet Home in the search bar and read the comic. It's already ended, so you don't have to wait for more episodes to come out. Alright, now that I've given some information on the topic of this what if, let's get into it. So we start off in the middle of the final year of Izuku's middle school. Okay, a little bit of a tongue twister right there. Izuku is at home with his mom and dad. And that's right, you are not tripping, I did say dad. Yes, Hisashi stayed with Izuku and Inko in this what if. Izuku starts reflecting on his life, and how everything has happened. All that Bakugo and his goons have done to him, how his dreams were crushed by the doctor so long ago. He begins to cry and complain about how unfair the world is. If the world is unfair, then what are you going to do about it? Izuku looks up to find nobody. Who's there? Izuku asks, but gets no response. He then walks downstairs. Hisashi and Inko are both cooking dinner when Izuku walks into the kitchen. Good evening, my boy. Hisashi happily says to Izuku, Hey, Dad. Hey, Mom. Is something wrong, sweetie? You look like you have something on your mind. Well, I do. Well, out with it then. Well, I think I heard a voice, but nobody was around. Hisashi turns around and gets down on his knee and puts his hand on Izuku's head. Hey, is something wrong? You know you can talk to us, right? No, nothing's wrong, Dad. I just got a little... Before Izuku could finish his sentence, a few drops of blood ran down his nose. Sorry about that. Heh, random nosebleeds. I used to get those all the time. Inko, could you kindly get our son a tissue? Inko turns around to face them when suddenly Izuku's nose starts bleeding a stream. Dad? I don't feel so good. Izuku then falls into Hisashi, landing on his shoulder with his nosebleed getting all over himself and Hisashi. Izuku then passes out, and Hisashi, without wasting any time, quickly takes Izuku into the car and drives them all to the hospital. Although this is a very strange occurrence, there doesn't seem to be anything actually wrong with him, Mr. and Mrs. Midoriya. What do you mean? Hisashi shouted. I mean what I mean, sir. There is nothing wrong with him. Didn't you say you had nosebleeds when you were a child? Well, yes, but not like this. Inko suddenly put her hand on Hisashi's shoulder. Honey, the doctor knows best. If he says Izuku is fine, then he should be fine. Hisashi slumps down into his waiting chair. I'm sorry, Doc. I'm just on edge. I completely understand, but rest assured, your child is safe and fine. We then switch perspectives over to Izuku. Izuku is in a grayish void with nothing around. So, Izuku, it's nice to finally meet you face to face. Izuku turns around to see himself, except he has no color and his eyes are black holes. Who are you? No. What are you? What am I? Well, now, that's a question that even I don't know the answer to. But for the sake of less confusion, let's just say that I'm you. What? What do you mean? Guess that only caused more confusion. Anyways, I'm here to offer you something. Offer me what? A new life. What do you mean, new life? Izuku, I've seen what they have done to you. Katsuki, the goons, everyone else in your class, even that doctor. A door suddenly appears behind the new Izuku. A door that has a warm glow behind it. If you accept, all you have to do is open this door and walk through. You'll live a life of a hero inside your mind for the rest of eternity. What do you get in return if I accept? The other Izuku then wears an inhuman smile. Your waking body. Izuku sits there in silence for a few minutes. He then starts to walk towards the door, basking in its warm glow. But then he starts to feel warmer. This warmer feeling then turns to scorching hot. He then suddenly wakes up. He is face to face with Hisashi, who is mortified. Izuku looks down to see most of his clothes are ripped and burnt. Besides the burns on his body, he sees that his skin is red and his hand has turned claw-like. He looks to Hisashi. Dad, what happened? Izuku then falls to his knees, his body reverting back to its original state. Hisashi runs up to Izuku and hugs him. Izuku is confused by what's going on, and decides to look over to see Inko on the floor, lying in a pool of blood. He then looks down at his hand again, although back to normal, was covered in blood. Inko's blood. He then starts to understand what happened. Did I do this? Hisashi stays silent, still hugging him whenever the police arrive. They raise their guns at Izuku, and one of them shouts, "Freeze!" Izuku raises his hands in the air, still not fully understand what's going on. The police tear Hisashi away from Izuku, and a few were holding him back, as another puts Izuku in handcuffs. "Get away from him! It's not his fault!" A police officer had to knock Hisashi out because he was starting to break free from their grip. The other officer then takes Izuku out of the hospital and puts him in a police car. Izuku rests his head on the window and looks out as the car passes the hospital. I'm sorry, Dad. Izuku's holding a phone as he stares at his dad from the other side of the glass stall. Izuku's wearing a jail suit and is on the verge of crying. Hisashi then smiles. You have nothing to be sorry for, son. It wasn't your fault. But I... No buts, Izuku. It wasn't your fault. You just lost control of your quirk because it was your first time using it. Izuku starts to break down. Hey, calm down. It's gonna be alright. I'm gonna get you out of here. Hisashi puts his hand on the glass and smiles at Izuku again. An officer walks over to Hisashi. Visiting hours are over, sir. Hisashi gives the officer a small glare, but then gets up and walks away. Izuku is then Izuku is then escorted to his cell by 2 officers. The cell door opens, and one of the officers walks in and pins Izuku's cellmate to the wall. "Hey, what is this? What are you doing?" The other officer punches the inmate in the face. "Shut up if you want to make it out of this alive." Izuku stares at what's happening and is about to do something until he's hit to the floor by the other officer behind him. "People like you, kiddo, disgust me. Accidental murder? Yeah, right. You probably enjoyed killing your own mother, didn't you, you sicko?" The cop then pulls out his pistol and points it at Izuku's head. "You can't do this! He's just a kid!" The inmate then gets punched again. "I thought I told you to shut up." "Well, since I'm a merciful man, any last words, kiddo?" "Hypocrite. What was that?" "Evil, vile, twisted." Izuku then starts to stand up, his suit starting to rip. "Delusional, twisted, hypocrite, vile, evil, waste of space, oxygen leech, pure scum." Izuku's hands then start to turn into red claws, and his eyes start turning red, while he keeps repeating these words. The officer, absolutely surprised by this, drops his pistol and takes a step back in fear. Suddenly, Izuku is right in front of the officer's face, and just like that, the officer's head is on the floor as his body falls. The other officer lets go of the inmate and shoots Izuku. The bullet pierces his skin. It then shoots back out of the hole it left and slammed into the wall. It then disintegrated as his wound healed. Izuku turns around and faces the officer. What are you?" Izuku then wears an inhuman smile. "What am I? Now, that's a question that even I don't know the answer to." And that, everybody, is where I'm going to leave this one off. I really hope you enjoyed it, because I really enjoyed scripting it. Also, sorry to everybody for just killing off Inko like that. I just felt like doing it. Sorry. Anyways, if you want another part then, well, I'm gonna be lax on you guys. 10 likes and you'll get part 2. Also, I have something a little serious to ask you regarding the Sea Emperor What If. I honestly expected that What If to just die, but the light goal has recently been reached. Sorry. So, I thought I'd ask you guys before I did anything. Do you really want me to continue that What If or not? Let me know in the comment section. As well, if Izuku should be a villain or a hero in this What If. Alright, that's about it. I hope you all have a good day or night. And this is Xeno Enthusiast, signing off.